Kennedy, Mona, we're going for a very quick break. When we bounce back, we'll continue the show. Please do stay with us.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Goil Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Goil Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Goil Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Goil Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance Motor Policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the project and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
All right, so it's now time for us to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. And in the course of the week, the Minister for Transport, the Honorable Kweku Fure-Asiama, had cause to join the management of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to commission an ultra-modern state-of-the-art AstroTurf for the people of Manhian in Tema, Newtown. Plus the fact that the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana is also cautioning the business community amidst some recent happenings in the industry. Let's take a look at these stories and more.
The Minister for Transport, Kweku Fure-Asiama, has commissioned the GPHA constructed near J. Kraku II Sports Complex in Tema, Newtown. The facility, which forms part of the corporate social responsibility of the Port Authority, comprises a world-class AstroTurf football playing field with sufficient illumination for night games, a spectator stand, a multi-purpose court for volley and basketball, tennis lawn, changing rooms, washrooms, and a children's playground. The facility is at the cost of 4 million Ghana cedis. Speaking at the official commissioning and handing over of the state-of-the-art AstroTurf, he said the facility will go a long way to inject additional impetus into the Tema Newtown community and also become a catalyst that will enhance the quality of life of the people, especially the youth.
It is the belief of government that having such facilities spread across the country will significantly impact effort at youth empowerment and ensure a healthy population through sports and games.
He entreated other public sector agencies to emulate the example of GPHA by reaching out to communities in their operational areas and lending support to them.
I am aware that GPHA has invested in other major CSR projects such as the renovation of educational facilities for some schools in Tema, and also donated educational material to schools across the country from Tema through the Middle Belt all the way to the northern regions. These are deliberate efforts initiated by government agencies aimed at enhancing the lives of Ghanaians. Effort must be lauded and they should be encouraged to do more.
The Director General of GPHA, Michael Lugoje, said the decision to construct the facility was taken in conjunction with the leadership of the Tema Traditional Council, premised on their desire to see the fruition of this project for the youth and community.
I also like to acknowledge the stellar contributions of the following personalities in this project: Mr. Paula Saransa, the former DG of GPHA, Honorable Daniel Titus Glover, former MP for Tema East, who both played key roles in the project that we are witnessing today. Similarly, we will thank the contractor, Wembley Contractors, for this work that is very well done. We are of the view that this facility will be beneficial to this community and will help in no small measure to shape and empower the youth as far as raising responsible young people for our country is concerned.
He charged the Traditional Council to ensure regular maintenance of the facility.
We are also aware that this particular project cannot also just entirely be managed by the Traditional Council without the Municipal Assembly. We therefore urge a very close collaboration between the Traditional Council and the Municipal Assembly for a very competent management of this facility. Let me assure you that the authority, through its corporate social responsibility, will continue to lend a helping hand to the various communities which all fall within our catchment areas according to GPH's capabilities.
The Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samson Asaki, has encouraged the business community in the country to declare the right quantities and provide the right documentations when importing their goods. This, according to him, will facilitate their trade as well as do away with any negative tag their company's image may suffer under the guise of defrauding in duty payment.
Let us continue to be law-abiding citizens. Anytime you go out there to buy your cargo and come, please declare the actual values, actual quantities, give specific actual description, and do not find yourself wanting for such a bad news to hit the industry.
Speaking in an exclusive interview with Iron Port, Samson Asaki said importers should be wary of favors that could later affect their businesses. Samson Asaki entreated importers that anytime they are seeking for discounts, they should go through the appropriate processes by applying to the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority.
You generate your value, you think that the tax bill that they gave to you is so much, you can go to them and then tell them, show them your documents, documentation showing the cost of the value of your cargo and looking at the cost of duty paid for you. You cannot pay, and it's always been varied. Yes, you might qualify for it, but first and foremost, you have to apply. If you apply, it has to go through a review process before it's given approval, and those approvals too should be backed by their law.
He encouraged government to continue to provide a congenial environment for businesses to thrive.
Those were happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. It's now time for us to go global and see what's happening on the international stage.
The Port of Long Beach reported July throughput numbers on Tuesday, showing its most active July on record, despite a cool down in consumer spending. Dock workers and terminal operators at the port moved 785,843 TEUs in July, a slim 0.13% increase from the previous record set in July 2021. Total throughput was boosted by rising empty export containers, offsetting a year-over-year imports decline. Imports fell 1.8% to 376,175 TEUs, while empty containers moved through the port rose 2.8% to 300,257 TEUs. Exports were down 0.5% to 109,411 TEUs. The United States Department of Transportation is getting ready to convene the first meeting of supply chain stakeholders participating in a new national freight data platform aimed at boosting transparency and efficiency in the supply chain. The platform, called the Freight Logistics Optimization Works, or FLOW for short, was launched in March by the Biden administration as an initiative to help solve supply chain congestion, speed up cargo movement, and lower costs for American consumers by increasing transparency in each point in the supply chain. Right now, the platform is only in its beta testing phase. China State Shipbuilding Corporation, CSSC, has announced the launch of what is claimed to be the world's largest capacity container ship, coming in at 24,116 TEUs. The ship, named MSC Tessa, was floated out of its building dock at the Hundong Zhonghua Shipbuilding's Jiangxing Shipbuilding base, located on Shanghai's Jiangxing Island, on August 1. Hundong Zhonghua is one of the major shipbuilding units belonging to the state-owned CSSC. With a carrying capacity of 24,116 20-foot equivalent units, MSC Tessa will surpass Evergreen's Ever Alert by 112 TEUs to take the title of the world's largest container ship. MSC Tessa measures in at 399.
All right, so those were some happenings in the port and shipping industry on the international stage. It's now time for us to take the word of the day. Remember, the word of the day is to help you appreciate and understand some of the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. Today's word is TEU. TEU.
TEU is an abbreviation for 20-foot equivalent unit. A TEU is a standard unit for counting containers of various capacities and for describing the capacities of container ships or terminals. One 20-foot ISO container equals 1 TEU. One 40-foot ISO container equals 2 TEUs.
All right, so you're welcome back. It's now time for us to zoom into our discussion proper tonight. And tonight we're taking a look at how we can promote and optimize the value of Ghana's exports. And in doing the selection for the discussion tonight, we had to go to the Ghana Export Promotion Authority-GPHA. That's a state agency mandated or clothed with the responsibility of promoting exports in our country. And I dare say their task is quite Herculean, premised on the fact that Ghana is an heavily import-dependent nation, and they have the responsibility of upping our exports as well. And so we had to go there, and then we were privileged to be given the director of projects at the Ghana Export Promotion Authority in the person of Mr. Alexander Dajawa, who is here in the studios with us. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Good evening.
And absolutely, we also had to look for somebody that's into the business of exports. And we couldn't go beyond Mr. Solomon Ntowiafe, who is the MD or CEO of Golden Riverside Limited. Their company is basically into export, the export out of this country. And so these are the two gentlemen we have in the studios tonight to discuss our topic, which is promoting and optimizing the value of Ghana's exports. Let me begin with Mr. Dajawa and find out from you. Recently, you carried a series of activities. Was privileged to be a part of one. And that was to fashion out a national policy that will promote exports in terms of, I'm talking about the National Export Development Strategy and how we can implement it and all that. Tell us about this particular event that was held recently.
Well, it was to inaugurate the sector committees of the National Export Development Strategy. As you rightly said, the strategy was formulated recently under the direction of the Ministry of Trade and Industry as the blueprint for Ghana to develop its export capacity within the next 10 years.
Right.
And it's a 10-year strategy document, and there are various interventions outlined in the strategy for implementation, which is to cumulatively give us about $25 billion in non-traditional exports within the next 10 years.
That's up to 2020.
Up to 2029.
Yeah,
the strategy was launched in the year 2020.
Right.
But that also coincided with the COVID-19 pandemic, which slowed down considerably business worldwide.
Right.
So effective implementation started only last year. So the target is to achieve $25 billion. And so under the strategy, there are various structures to be set up to enable the impetus to be provided for achieving the goal of the strategy.
Right.
One of which was the inauguration of the sector committees, looking at the various sectors of the priority areas that were put in the strategy document for implementation. So that is what happened, and you were also fortunate to be there.
Absolutely. Right. Okay, so at the close of the day, with that particular workshop or meeting or seminar, did you realize the objectives for which you put it together?
Well, of course, we did realize the objective, because the objective was to set up the committees, which had been done, and also looking at the various components of the implementation to strategize, to be able to look forward to full implementation in the coming years. We took also the opportunity to do a sensitization program for the major beneficiaries of the strategy, i.e. the exporters and the exporter associations, who were also heavily represented. So at the end of it all, we were able to put to them what needs to be done to achieve that strategic objective. And we also had the Honorable Deputy Minister of Trade, who is directly responsible for ensuring that the strategy is implemented.
That's also Honorable Herbert
Krapper, to give us that morale booster. And so everybody was committed to ensuring that they work assiduously with GPHA to be able to achieve the objectives of the strategy. So basically, that is what, and there's a roadmap for achieving that, which we'll look at subsequently.
All right. Let's take a look at the year 2021. How did we fare as a country in terms of exports?
Well, as I said, the base year for us for implementation of the strategy is 2021, even though it was launched in 2020. Obviously, we couldn't do much. But significantly, we did
what accounted for our inability to do much?
Our inability to do much because of the slowdown. And I believe that when Solomon comes, he will also tell you what actually happened in that year. And so we are counting from 2021. So the non-traditional export development strategy started implementation, as I said, and by end December 2021, total non-traditional exports was $3.3 billion,
right,
as compared to 2.87 in 2020, which was quite a significant improvement over the previous year of about 17%.
Right.
So all things being equal, if we move at the same pace, then I would say that we are on course to working towards full realization of the goal. And as I said, the goal is to achieve $25.3 billion by 2029.
Right. Okay, so let me come to Mr. Ntoyafi and find out from you. Tell us about Golden Riverside Limited. I'm told you primarily export pineapple. Yes, tell us about it.
Well, Golden Riverside exports 3 varieties of pineapples, Smooth Cayenne, the MD2, and the Sugarloaf.
If you're not the one saying it today, I didn't even know we had varieties of pineapple.
Actually, we have 4 varieties in Ghana.
Yeah. Tell us.
That's the Smooth Cayenne, Sugarloaf, MD2, and then the Queen Victoria.
Smooth Cayenne.
Yes.
Sugarloaf. Yes. Is this Sugarloaf or Sugarloaf?
Loaf, like
Sugarloaf.
bread
Okay.
loaf, yes.
Cayenne, and then?
Queen Victoria.
Queen Victoria?
Yes.
Okay, I have 3. The Smooth Cayenne, the Sugarloaf.
MD2.
MD2. Yes. Are these organic or genetically
No, we have
modified?
both conventional and organic.
Okay.
The organic market is not a very big market. It's a niche market, so it's not everybody who does the organic. But we are business people, so if the market demands conventional, why not?
Right.
So.
All right. So yeah, please flow.
Right, and then in Golden Riverside, like I told you, we are focusing on 2 main varieties, which is the Smooth Cayenne and then the Sugarloaf.
Okay.
Yes. Now the Sugarloaf is gaining significant growth on the European market,
right.
Especially France, which is our major destination. Switzerland and then Germany is also coming up.
Okay.
Yes, and then the Middle East is also coming up. Quite recently, we are having some orders coming from the Middle East, which is quite good. So we think for the Sugarloaf and the Smooth Cayenne, which is the type that we have here in Ghana, we have to focus mainly on it and make it big.
What are the quantities you export, and how often do you export?
Well, I export on weekly basis. We started this around 2006, and we've been shipping consistently on weekly basis.
Wow.
And normally on the low season, we ship around 10 tons per week. But on the high season, we could go as high as 60, 70 tons.
All right, so for the layman that's watching us right now, if you say 10 tons, what's the volume? Is it a container load?
1,000 kilograms of pineapple make 1 ton.
1 ton, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So for a container, normally a 40-footer container contains 20 tons of pineapple.
Okay. So we're talking about 20 equivalent units.
Yes.
That's for the 10 tons.
No, for 10 tons, yes. Yes.
So it means that averagely you export about a 20-footer container every week.
We don't normally do sea.
Okay.
We do about 95% air freight.
Yes. Because of the perishable nature
it should
of it.
Arrive fresh
yes.
and the quality.
Right.
Yes.
And that's also quite expensive.
It's quite expensive because of the freight.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, fantastic. All right, so give us your assessment of our industry, the export industry. What's your assessment as somebody that's in the industry?
Like my boss was saying, it's a gradual process that we have just begun last year. But fortunately for the pineapple industry, it was doing quite well in the 90s, coming to the 20s. But around 2004, I think Ghana recorded its highest production, which is about 71,000 metric tons.
Right.
And then we dropped gradually because of the introduction of the new, there was a new variety which is called the MD2.
Yes.
So we dropped, and we've been struggling from that time to date. It was only last year that we made some remarkable increase.
Right.
Last year, I think we hit 32,000 metric tons. And majority of those came from the air side. So the air freight is now doing about 60-70%, while the sea does about 30-40%.
All right, I'll come back to you. I want to come back to you. I would want to find out from you whether you are satisfied with the processes you have to go through in order to get your goods out there on the international market. And let me come to Mr. Adejawa. Tonight we're discussing how to, promote and optimize, the value of Ghana's exports. And we just want to find out from you some of the steps GEPA is taking to ensure that this happens. Because most of the time, when you meet, for instance, the last meeting that you held that I just mentioned, most of the people in the auditorium thought that we don't, add value to our exports. We just export in the raw state, which does not give us the requisite earnings that we desire, that we should be earning as a country. Tell us what you are doing to ensure that we optimize the value of our exports.
Well, for Ghana Export Promotion Authority, our mandate is in twofold. The first one is development, and the second one is promotion. So in terms of development, what we do is we work closely with the exporters and their associations, and we facilitate the processes for them to increase their outputs.
Right.
As you know, we are primarily a raw material exporting company, so most of our exports go as primary products.
Right.
I.e., for example, the pineapples that we do, quite significant amount of it goes by fresh.
Yeah.
However, to add value, value addition also generates additional, revenue. And so we encourage as much as possible exporters to try and add value to their products. But adding value also suggests that you must have the raw material base.
Yeah.
Because if the raw material base is small and consistently, sustainably, because whatever you do, because we are an agrarian country, most of our people depend on agriculture. And so agricultural value addition is the key to us going forward. But if you don't have the raw material in sufficient quantities, then manufacturing or processing becomes a difficult challenge. So first of all, the base must be strong. And that is why, for example, companies like Golden Riverside, we try to assist them with planting material that will enable them to expand their farms, and so that when they now get enough, then we can go into processing.
Right.
There are a few companies that are going into processing now. For example, Blue Sky and a few others. They are doing quite well, but most often you see that they complain about not having the raw material enough for them to process.
Right.
So some of them have to go even beyond Ghana to Benin and a few other places to get additional material to process. So first, we are laying a lot of emphasis on supply side issues.
Okay.
So since 2017, GEPA has made a conscious effort to provide support towards improving on our supply capacity in various product areas, particularly pineapple, where we've invested close to about 11 million sachets that have been distributed to various farmers. We've also now constantly provided support for the coconut industry, because that's also another important area where value can be added.
Okay.
So once we move beyond that, then we are going to the next phase, which is the processing side. That being said, already government plan is towards one district, one factory, which is a very good policy that enables companies that are located in districts to move to the next step of processing their materials. And so we are also very heavy on supporting 1D1F companies to go into heavy processing. And once they have processed those products, the next step is where do we send them to? That's where the export market then comes in. And we are heavily involved also in promotion.
Right.
So these are the two ways in which GEPA is focused now, as in the past, to support our exporters. And it's been going on for quite a while. Now that we have the National Export Development Strategy in place, we have to then move to the next stage. And as you know, investments in value addition is critical.
Right.
So we are doing a lot of advocacy to ensure that our financial institutions also lend support to this important aspect of our value addition process, which is to invest in companies or in factories that will improve on our processing capacity. For example, Ekumfi fruit and juices is a very good example that we often cite, because they have been able to have their own farms, pineapple farms that feed the factory. And even so, it's not enough. Right now, they are crying for more
raw materials.
And so we have to move gradually. We are not there yet, but with the kinds of support and infrastructure that we are putting in place, I'm very sure that in the next few years, we'll be doing much better than we are doing now.
You mentioned coconut, and that's one of the things I'm interested in. I just want to find out from you how we are faring with regards to coconut in particular.
Well, there's a big revival.
We export coconut
We export
in the raw form?
We export both fresh and processed.
Yes.
But processed, coconut has a very wide value chain of value-added products, starting from the fresh, you go to oil, and then many other, even in the natural beauty area, you use coconut oil and all that. So it's a growing sector. But then, of course, because in the past, the sector was faced with a lot of disease challenges, most of the old trees have died off in the western region and Volta region and all that. So there's a need for us to revive the industry. And so we put quite some significant support behind the revival of or the resuscitation of the coconut industry, which is doing quite well now. One other thing we are doing is that we want to sensitize the people to know that coconut is one of the top, tree crops that we can enter into. And so we did a big exhibition in 2019, before the COVID, that is drawing attention to the prospects that the industry held. And we were to do it annually until COVID also set in. And so now we are putting a lot of blame on COVID because it slowed down our progress. But only recently we've realized that now that the COVID situation has gone down, we need to revisit that particular exhibition, which is an international exhibition in character. So only last Friday we were in the Western region in Elembele to launch our second edition of the exhibition, which is going to be quite a big show coming up in September. And so coconut is also one of the things that we are currently promoting assiduously, and we've supported again our farmers, those who are interested, and giving them seedlings. We've supplied close to 700,000 coconut seedlings of hybrid nature that is quite disease tolerant, that the Capes and Paul disease will not affect going forward. And so in our small way, that is what we are doing for that industry.
Great. Okay, so I'll be coming back to you. And when I come back to you, I would want to find out from you where we stand as a country in terms of our balance of trade as a country. And let me come to you, Mr. Anto-Yafi. You export virtually every week, and so I know you would have been very familiar with the nuances and intricacies involved in the export business. I just want to find out from you what you make of the processes you have to go through every week to ensure that you have your products out there on the international market. You mentioned Germany, you mentioned Switzerland, you mentioned the Middle East and France, some of the countries that you export to. Are you satisfied with the processes you go through?
Satisfaction, I don't know how I'm going to rate this, but I'm not too satisfied with the processes sometimes we go through. Because we are dealing with perishables, we expect that things shall be done on time, especially in the nights when maybe you are late and you are trying to get your documentation done. You have to chase an officer here and there to get documentations done. Taxations and cost of documentation is quite high for us nowadays. And one other area, handling, is key. You build your pallet very nicely from the farm, and when it gets to the port, they'll have to reduce it because of our scanner. They say the scanner is shorter. They'll reduce it. We don't have a problem with it. But when they are finished scanning, when they are restacking them, then they mix up sizes, they mess up the boxes, and when it arrives, it doesn't look too good as compared to our competitors from other countries. Yes. So I believe if they look into this for us, it will go a long way to help us. Yeah.
How much technology do you employ in your chain as you export out of the country? For instance, when you get to the airport, do you do everything manually, or you'd have to go through some kind of like formalities in terms of you can sit back with the click of a button from your office?
Everything is manually. Phytosanitary. Now we are having a GIZ which is working to get these processes shortened for us, so that at least we would be able to get things done on time.
Now, have you brought some of these issues that you just raised to the attention of GPHA and the relevant
Yes, I think Ghana
the Shippers Authority.
Ghana Shippers Authority organized a seminar for us last year also, which we invited the boss for Street Sports. He even said, well, we will try and see if he can organize a training for the handlers.
Talking about Marwan Travolsi?
Yes, so that at least they will be able to identify certain, in case they reduce their pallet and other things, they'll be able to identify which ones they took it from and then make sure they do a clean job there. But it has not been done till now. Yes. We had issues with a letter of credit, that's LOC. I think just last month, Ghana Shippers Authority, together with BOJ, organized a workshop at Fiesta Royal for us, and then all these issues too were addressed. So that's one they are working on it.
The letters of credit issue was addressed?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's one area that is a bit frustrating for the exporters. Because if you export and within 90 days you have not been paid, you are blocked from shipping. And sometimes, you know, it's perishables. And we have issues with claims. And when it happens like that, you don't receive your returns. So if you don't receive it and they block you, how do you work again? So some of these things is what we are trying to explain to them to really understand us, so that at least we can have some waivers and then make sure our export flows.
Great. Okay, so I'll be coming back to you. And when I come back to you, I would like you to list on the challenges that you go through. I know access to finance, the cost of borrowing, and all those things are some of the things that you probably mention, because those are the initial things that everybody mentions. In terms, if you're a business person, I mean, it's quite expensive to borrow in our country or in our part of the world. But let me come to Mr. Dejawa and find out from you where we stand as a country in terms of balance of trade.
Well, just a little addition to what Solomon said about the letter of, actually it's the letter of credit, commitment.
Sure. Okay.
Letter of commitment is a policy that is a government policy that is implemented by the Bank of Ghana that regulates all exports and exporters who export out of Ghana. That ensures that they repatriate their export earnings back into the country. Because right now, as you see, we are all chasing after the dollar. And so we believe strongly that when export grows, then a lot more of the foreign exchange revenues come into the country to shore up our currency.
Right.
So there is this Bank of Ghana regulation that says that for any exports to go out of Ghana, you must guarantee, the exporter must guarantee that the returns will come back to Ghana. So if you exported, let's say $200,000 worth of pineapple out of Ghana, we must see within 60 days your returns coming back into Ghana for obvious reasons. Because some don't like bringing their monies back, they go and put it in some account somewhere, and then we suffer for it. So it's a system that ensures, that compels the exporter to bring back their export revenue into the country. So it's called a letter. So before you do the export, you have to commit yourself to repatriating your money.
Right.
And it is put in the ICOM system that is administered by customs. So if you say, yes, I will bring it back, and they see that your revenue is not coming back within 60 days, by which time we expect that your whatever returns would have been brought in, then there is a red flag, which means that perhaps there might be some, something going on. So when you are going to do your next exports, the system will query you and ask, have you returned have you brought in back your previous money? You must show evidence of it.
Right.
If it is seen that you've not brought it, that is when you have challenges. And so the system blocks you from shipping.
Right.
But they also complain that sometimes, if you establish letters of credit, sometimes the money coming back in the system may delay beyond the 60 days.
Why?
There are some reasons like claims. Okay. We are dealing with perishables. Sometimes we have delays in flights, and especially those flights in transit. It has to delay. Sometimes our clients wait as much as 7 days to receive their fruits. It's no longer fresh. So when they are in course of selling, they incur a lot of losses. And some of them would like to wait for their sales results before they're able to pay you.
Payment,
And sometimes this sales results takes
a
longer time. Yes.
All right. Yes.
And so because the system does not discriminate, once it is not brought in, it triggers that red flag. So it is for you, the exporter, then to go back to Bank of Ghana and say that, please, for this and this and this reason, I was not able to bring back the money.
Right.
And then you'll be given an extension. But if you don't do that,
yeah.
then as long as you wait, the system will block you from exporting. And that's a very good
So this
system.
is a leeway you probably would have to bring to the attention of the exporters
Yes,
so that they can
yes.
exploit.
So, yeah, exactly. That is why the sensitization is going on.
Yeah.
And as he rightly said, Shippers Authority are responsible. You know, they look at all the shipment issues and all that. So we've been teaming up with them to educate the exporters. But they also have genuine challenges, which we have brought to the attention of Bank of Ghana. So Bank of Ghana is also now working with them closely to see the challenges and how the system can be adjusted to cater for situations like this going forward. Now, coming back to more reason why the dollars have to come in.
Yeah.
Because as we import with dollars.
Yes.
And so when we export, then we get the returns back.
Before you take a bite on the balance of trade issue, let me find out from you, with the explanation that Mr. Dajawa just preferred, just gave with respect to the letters of credit or letters of commitment. It looks quite simple. And so you shouldn't be having challenges with it.
No, definitely. Like we told you, it is perishables.
Yeah.
For my case, especially pineapples and then vegetables and fruits.
Right.
They are perishables, definitely. Once there are challenges with the nature of the fruits, you definitely get claims and you will never receive all your money.
Right.
So it's an agreement between the supplier and the client.
Right.
So once we agree that because of A, B, C, D, instead of maybe 10,000 euros, I'm going to give you 5,000 euros. But meanwhile, Bank of Ghana is expecting 10,000 euros.
Right.
So if you bring in 5,000, they still think the remaining should come. Otherwise, you are blocked from.
So that's where you need to explore that leeway of going to explain to them what has
in that
happened.
case, yes, we need to explain to Bank of Ghana some of these processes and challenges so that at least we can be given that
a leeway.
Extension.
Yes.
Okay, yes. So balance of trade, sir.
Well, balance of trade, I think we are not doing badly at all as a country these days.
Okay.
Because hitherto, it's always been in a negative. Our imports always outstrip our exports. But for a very good account, in the last few years, we've not been doing that badly at all. And I think I can say that in 2021, we actually did have a balance of trade surplus with the rest of the world, which amounted to close to $800 million, which is a balance of trade surplus.
Yeah.
Meaning that for the first time, or yes, in a few years, our exports actually exceeded our imports.
Right.
And therefore, we have a positive balance.
Okay.
And I think indications are half-year indications are that we've gotten from Bank of Ghana also indicates a very positive trend.
Okay.
Currently, we are exporting a little more than we are importing. Okay. So still, the balance is on our side, which is quite positive. And so that is the trajectory that we want to go. And so we've always been hammering the point that exports is the way to go. We must progressively reduce our imports and then progressively also improve on our exports. Because we have a slogan that we say, export Ghana, export more. Export gains, import drains. You see, so that people are aware that if we export more, even though we cannot stop importing, the proportion of our imports to exports must reduce so that we can do a lot more of the exports. And I dare say that that is being heard, and these days we are doing much, much more. I think by the data that I have, so far we have done about $9 billion in total exports, half year, $9 billion, including also non-traditional exports. And we have done about $7.5 billion of imports. So you can see straight away that there's a very, a very positive, balance in favor of Ghana. And we must applaud government and all the other key agencies and the private sector that is leading the charge. And I must say that we are doing a lot in the cocoa derivative sector. Our leading non-traditional export right now is processed cocoa.
Processed cocoa.
And government policies that we must add more value to cocoa before we export. And I think that is on course.
Yielding some dividends.
Yielding a lot of dividends.
Because the next question I wanted to ask you is, what accounts for this particular dynamic, this particular shift?
Processed cocoa.
Exactly. And then I also wanted to find out what item accounted for it. What are the factors that are supporting this particular
processed
trend?
cocoa, and we are also doing a lot in cashew. Ghana is a very, very good country for cashew exports, and we are doing a lot of cashew, and that's one of the areas that we need to emphasize and promote for a lot more people to go into cashew farming. We did almost over $300 million worth of cashew in 2021. If we were to add value to the cashew in terms of kernel and other processed products before exporting, it would have gotten even 4 times the value that we got.
Right.
And that is why I come back to your question about
balance of trade.
The balance of trade and also the optimization
yes.
of our exports, which is clearly by way of value addition.
Yes.
And I'm sure that with the companies that are now being set up and which are also operating in the next maybe 4 to 5 years, we'll see real prospects for our economy in terms of value addition. And you also see now government has invested heavily in the automotive industry,
right,
which is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Oh, yeah.
And if these car assembling plants that are currently operating would diversify and look for new markets, which we are ready to do, perhaps in Liberia, in Sierra Leone, in the, other West African countries, taking advantage of the AFTA, for example, we are good to go.
Right.
We'll get a lot of foreign revenue from there.
Right.
And so that is another area that we are also looking at. And also the palm oil industry also holds a lot of prospects. Not forgetting our traditional canned tuna.
Right.
It's also quite a huge area that we are looking at. So all in all, I think that we are on course. So when you look at the non-traditional export sector in the National Export Development Strategy, we have prioritized 17 key product sectors or value chains, led by processed cocoa. We're also dealing with cashew, the aluminium and plastic industries for East Africa, and perhaps also now looking at full processing of our petroleum oils, into other, products.
Right.
If we are at it and we get the support, the sky is our limit.
The sky should be our limit indeed. That's what we should aspire to be, where we should aspire to be. Let me come to you, Mr. Anchoviafe, and find out. I said I was going to come to you. Take a look at some of the challenges that you have, as exporters in the country.
Right. Exporters, you rightly mentioned before, our major concern is financing.
The cost of borrowing.
Cost of borrowing is quite high now. Last 2 years and last year, I think it was okay, about 20%, but now it's around between 26-30%, which is not too good for us. Agriculture and perhaps the perishables that we are dealing with involves a lot of capital. And once you are not well-resourced, it makes our work a bit difficult for us. Once you have orders and you don't have the needed resources to be able to make up for those orders, you might lose your clients, because as for the clients, when they order, they don't care whether it's raining, they don't care whether you have money, you have packaging, you have what, they don't really care. All that they want is their goods to get to them as soon as possible. So we really need our banks to assist as well. Before, they were talking about collateral issues, and then the government has set up a body that is now supporting agriculture with 70% collateral, which is GESA, and which I'm even a beneficiary of it. And it is helping. Even with this, I think the banks are still a bit sluggish about...
but there's Exim Bank, and I think that Exim Bank should be benefiting some people like you. Are you not? What's happening with it?
Yeah, well, we have applied for it, but, it is not just one sector. The sectors are multiple. More. So we don't know when it will get to our turn.
Okay. So, I get it, yeah.
Yes. So maybe in future it will get to our turn. Yes.
Shouldn't GEPA be supporting them and pushing,
pulling some strings
GEPA
is doing,
Bank to...
GEPA is doing what it could. Like 2018, 2019, when they saw that our sector has issues with getting this smooth cayenne back to the system, they assisted farmers with over 11 million suckers, which I also benefited about 2 million suckers out of it. Yes, so they are doing their best. They are supplying coconut seedlings and other areas where they are also putting in much effort. But financing, sometimes, it goes beyond them. So we were looking at our banks to do this for us. And also our land issues. Yes, the rate of encroachment is becoming high.
Yeah.
And if you're a farmer, your major asset is your land. And if you approach these banks to assist you to acquire your land, sometimes they drag their feet a bit because they think the land will not give them money quickly or something. So I think our bankers should go back to the drawing board and really look into our operations and assist us. Because if they do, that is what is going to bring in a lot of foreign exchanges to the country. Yeah.
Right. Let me come to you. The suckers, the 11 suckers that you distributed to the farmers, do they pay back or yes, give it to them for free?
Well, before
because that would be a very huge investment.
Yes. Okay. Before
11 million.
I say that, let me quickly say that in terms of the financing, we've also been doing our bits, advocating strongly for additional financing for our exporters.
Right.
Because they've done very well by going on their own for quite a while now. But without financial support, it will be difficult for them to expand.
Right.
And so all we can do at GEPA for now is to do the advocacy on behalf of our exporters, because we ourselves don't have, that pot of gold that we can use in supporting them.
Yeah.
And there are agencies, or let me say institutions, that are responsible for providing that kind of support, i.e. particularly the banks.
Right.
So we do encourage a lot of the banks to turn their to focus also on the export sector. And I know that the Stanbic Bank, for example, we've been working with them, advocating for exporters and all that. And as a result of that, most of them have now set up export departments.
Right.
Hitherto, they didn't have export departments.
Okay.
But some of them are beginning to see the light. And
which is quite significant.
Which is quite significant.
Yeah.
And they are giving more and more financial assistance to exporters. I know Stanbic Bank because we've been dealing with them. Recently also, we've been speaking to Carl Bank, who are also willing to come in and support. So I'll just use this platform again to appeal to our banks that they should look at exports. Because when, the exporters export, the revenues come through the banks.
Yeah.
And so they hold the money for some time before they even give to the exporters. And they don't give the monies back to the exporters in dollars. They give it to them in
local
cedis,
currency, yes.
which means that they are holding on to the forex and are using them for their purpose. So they owe the exporters in a way, and they have some responsibility towards them. So the little they can do is to turn their focus also on them and assist them. Secondly, also, we've been working closely with Exim Bank,
right,
and I've been advocating strongly that they should also do some, put dedicated funds for the SMEs, because most of these exporters are small in nature. They are small and medium enterprise. They are not large enterprises. And that is the reason why the bank was established to provide financial support to the exporters.
Right.
And of late, there has been some very good movements around there, to the extent that even on Friday, when we went to launch the Coconut Festival,
yes,
they announced that they are dedicating 30 million Ghana cedis solely towards the development of the coconut industry.
That's true.
Which was a very laudable
absolutely
initiative. Also, they announced recently that the yam sector is also going to get support from them. I think also of an equal 30 million, if I'm not mistaken, 30 million Ghana cedis, again, solely for the yam exports. And so these are very good signs, and I strongly applaud them for that and urge them to continue that way and look at all the priority sectors that we have identified in the National Export Development Strategy document and provide that support. If we go at it and we are consistent, I'm very, very positive that we can achieve the $25 billion of non-traditional exports only, and then add the traditionals to it. And we should be hitting around $40 and $50 billion.
Yeah.
If only we provide that support financially, coupled with the technical support that we have been providing by way of training the exporters through our export school.
Right.
That gives them capacity to now know what to do and follow the footsteps of Golden Riverside and Co.
Yeah.
Now we are also grooming up young people who are interested in going to export, to the extent that we even have a program now we call Youth in Exports Program, which is aimed at...
under the auspices of GPHA?
Of GPHA.
Okay.
And we have identified some mentors, seasoned exporters, and have recruited young, interested people who want
learn
to
under
go
their
into
feet. Okay.
Under their feet. And one of the mentors is...
It's Mr. Ntu, okay.
And he's done so well.
Okay.
At least he has graduated about 2.
Okay.
2 of them who are almost on their own. Now they are doing very well.
One has been obviously turned to a farm manager. Another person is also, after his 1.5 acres, trying to do more. So I think they are doing well.
Oh, great.
And we are upscaling the program this year.
Okay.
We started with 20 youth as a pilot.
Right.
It was very successful. Now we want to upscale to almost 100.
Wow.
And if we have the resources, we can even do 1,000.
Wow.
And interestingly, National Service Secretariat has also seen what we are doing, and they want to partner us for this new batch of service personnel, so that we can get a few of them also to enroll on the program.
Right. Great. All right, promoting and optimizing Ghana's, the value of Ghana's exports is what we're discussing tonight on our import here on Metropolitan Television. It's time for us to go for a quick break. When we bounce back, we'll continue with the discussion. Please do stay with us.
Every now and again, Goil makes good things happen. This time, Goil has introduced Super XP Ron 95, a higher grade fuel loaded with additives and yet sold at the same price as normal fuel. Go Super XP Ron 95 enhances engine performance like never before. It maintains the engine by keeping it clean from carbon deposits. Go Super XP Ron 95 is designed to burn slowly and thus improves fuel economy, making you save money after several kilometers. Go Super XP Ron 95 gives you a smooth driving experience, that is, less vibrations. Fill up with Go Super XP Ron 95. Now there's no need to pay more for any higher grade fuel. Goil has that sorted. Goil, good energy.
Electricity, pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water, or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy. creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
All right, so you're welcome back. In the studios with me tonight is Mr. Alexander Dajawa. He's Director of Projects at the Ghana Export Promotion Authority. And also in the studios with me is Mr. Solomon Nto Wiafe, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Golden Riverside Limited. They are basically into the export of pineapple here in Ghana. And tonight, remember, we're discussing how to promote and optimize the value of Ghana's exports. And so I've been told by the production team that we can activate the phone lines for you to call in. And the number to dial as usual is 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. Pretty shortly, I shall also be coming to the mailbox so we can share your messages with the rest of the world. So let me come to you, Mr. Dajawa, and find out the level of support you offer to Ghanaian exporters as the sole agency responsible for promoting exports from Ghana.
Well, I indicated that our mandate is in twofold. We do development and we do promotion.
Right.
And our activities are in about 5 different areas. First of all, we provide market information, export market information to our exporters to make them come up to speed with what the market trends are.
Right.
Where there are demand for products, the market's conditions, market requirements, what you need to do to be able to export successfully. The second thing we also do is to train exporters or provide them capacity building so that they know what to do to be able to succeed internationally, because international trade is quite complex. You know, Solomon has made some very useful points about how difficult it is to export, and perhaps if there are challenges, how do you resolve them with your buyer? Because as for the buyer, all he wants is his produce that you have to send to him. He doesn't care about what happens locally. Once you put paper to pen and say you have agreed, I'll supply you weekly, 1 container, he expects that you get his 1 container. And if there's a problem, then there's a big challenge internationally because he can sue you. So exporters need to know things like this to be able to be successful. So we do capacity building for exporters. We also go into a little bit of development, which I mentioned about providing circuits and all that. Strictly speaking, that is beyond us because we don't have the money to invest that much. But then we saw the lacuna that particularly for production for exports. You know, Ministry of Agri focuses a lot more on food security, and so they have their own, what do you call it, priority areas to look at. But we deal with exports mainly. So when we see that there's a shortfall or there's a challenge, for example, in supply capacity, we cannot stay aloof. So the little money we have, we try to invest in the development side of things, which shouldn't have been the case. And so we were forced in a way to show the way because not many of the agencies that are supposed to invest in development are doing so. And so that's another thing that we've been doing. And so for the last 4 or 5 years, you see us more active, even now in development, than you see us going to trade fairs and things like that. And then we also do trade fairs.
Okay.
We take exporters
We'll deal with the trade fairs when we come back. But let's go onto the phone lines and welcome Jasper from Takoradi. Hello, Jasper.
Hello.
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, please. I would like to make a little contribution on the discussion.
Please shoot.
Okay. I would like to appreciate my brother Solomon for single-handedly, handling farm and exporting from Ghana to other countries. And that is very hard for us, the youth, and we would like to learn from him. If you can also leave his location where we can also contact him and pick up, we'll be very glad.
All right. Okay, so he's here. He says he wants your location. Or unless you, yeah.
Right. I'm located on the Ebri and Sam Road. We'll leave our contacts with the producers.
Production team,
so,
sure.
you can contact them.
So you can contact our producers. They would give you his details. Maybe you'd have to leave your contact with them so that they would reach you after the show.
Can I say something small to that? In fact, to be frank with you, our program, which is the Youth in Export program, started when my CEO visited Mr. Wiafe's farm.
Okay.
She was so amazed at what she saw.
Right.
And saw Mr. Wiafe as a relatively young person who has gone into farming. And he told us that when he finished school, I think university, he went straight into farming.
He finished in 2004.
And then went straight into farming.
Wow.
And you are amazed when you visit his farm. We didn't even want to leave because the serenity, the greenery, and the extent to which he's planted, it was amazing.
Yeah, Pastor.
So as soon as we came back, my CEO said, no, we have to do something for the youth, and we can use him as our mentor. And that's how the whole thing started. So I'm happy about the question that our viewer asked, and I can assure you that Mr. Wiafe is ready to provide that training to anybody who is interested.
Great. We'll leave your contacts with them so that he can call, Jasper can call and then have it. He's calling all the way from Takoradi.
Right.
So you can imagine the impact you are making. Yes, so you are on trade fairs. You take some
exporters. So trade fairs is also one of the things that we do. We take exporters to fairs, and we are noted for our participation in international fairs. We participate in various fairs, craft fairs, fruits and vegetables fairs, textile fairs, processed food fairs, and all that, chocolate fairs, for all kinds of fairs. On behalf of our exporters, we organize them to go, and we pay for the stand, and sometimes we take about 10 booths. Sometimes we get a whole pavilion, as we do in Fruit Logistica, which costs us sometimes 70,000 euros. Yeah. And then we do promotion. We even take the samples of the products along for them. Wow. So all they need to do is to cater for their airfare and also accommodation. Right. And these are yielded a lot of results. And I dare say that the exports that we have seen in recent years were directly as a result of our participation in those fairs. It's ongoing now, and as I speak, my CEO is even in a show in the US with exporters, and we are noted for that. And so we partner with various other organizations to put these shows together. Now, these days, we are also thinking about organizing some big shows, even in Ghana, where we can invite buyers, this time to come down to Ghana, and we'll organize, credible and very good companies from whom they can buy, so that it is not only one way, but then now they can come to Ghana. And our view is that when they come to Ghana, many other things can result from that. Even tourism can result as a result of that. Okay.
All right, let's go on to the phone lines once again and welcome Sami. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm terrific, by His grace. Thank you for asking. I hope you are well, too.
Thanks for the good work you are doing.
Thank you.
I'm speaking from who? I'm interested in the coconut business, and I have a coconut farm.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want...
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a coconut farm, and I heard the man from the gentleman from Ghana Export Promotion
Authority, yes.
They providing people with, assisting them with coconut seedlings or something.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. How do they go about it? Because last year I wanted some. Yeah, so I wanted to know how we can get in touch with their siblings. Because he said, yes, the hybrid tank, which can help us to increase production or that. I mean, the yield will be better than the traditional one.
Right.
So I want to find out from him, how can we get in touch with them to be able to get a correct feedback? Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Sammy. We're grateful to you for a call all the way from the Volta region.
Yeah. Yes. I must say that our support covers all the coconut growing areas of Ghana, including Volta region. We've distributed coconut seedlings in the Volta region in the past. Only recently, for the year 2022, we've done our first phase of coconut seedlings distribution. And we are set to continue. Maybe by the end of September, we should be distributing more. So I encourage him to visit our
regional office. You have a regional office in Ho.
Regional, I think it's around the Ministry of Agric area. Visit us. Our regional officer is called Chris Amponsan. And so once you visit him, he'll take your details and give you the further directions on what to do. But we encourage people to join. There's a big coconut association, which we call the Federation of Coconut Exporters. And then we have Coconut Farmers Association of Ghana, which is in all the regions. And so we want to, what we normally would do is to use the associations to distribute the coconut seedlings, because we want to be sure that these people who are beneficiaries are real coconut farmers. And we hold the associations responsible when something goes wrong. So Mr. Amponsan will give you further details as to how to join the association. And you should be sure that you also get some of the seedlings.
All right, we're going back onto the phone lines. I understand we have Dr. Emmanuel, who is calling us from Adenta Frafraha. Good evening, Doc.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, sir.
I want to find out from Mr. Alex Dagawa.
Yes.
Who is my very good friend. We're in the University of Dakar together. And I want to find out, doing some sweet pepper and ginger in the Volta region, and how I can get to export it. I would need some technical advice, how to go about the production, and then the steps, the process.
Thank you very much, Doc. We're grateful. He would give you some response.
Yeah, very well. Doc, how are you? Yes, the vegetable sector is another key area. We call it fruits and vegetables. So we provide support for fruits. We also provide support for vegetables to the extent that we even give seeds to farmers through the association, once again, called the Vegetable Exporters Association. So what I'll encourage him to do, again, is to either visit us at the head office, or if you are near now in Volta region, you will see our regional officer, and then we will be able to advise as to how to do that. We provide good agricultural practices for those farmers also who farm, because you need to, as I said already, meet the market requirements, which are very stringent. How to apply your pesticides, how to ensure that your farms are well organized and all that. That is a lot of training, and we provide that support also. So please visit us, and then we'll take you through the process.
Great. Okay, so the number you can also dial is 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353. We're going to be able to take your calls, and then so they can contribute to the discussion. Everyone says, good evening, please, how do I get some coconut seedlings and your phone number? Well, there's no name to this message, and so you can please reach our production team via the same number and leave your number there and your name, and then we'll be able to reach you. We elicit some response from them and reach you. I am told we have Fusheni from the northern region on the lines. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Master.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I'm in Northeast region currently.
Northeast, Nalerigo, okay. Are you in Waliwali or Nalerigo?
I'm at Chereponi.
Okay, sure, right. Please flow.
Please tell the officer that we need some of the citizens in Chereponi district. We have areas where we can, show that it's in the citizens.
Okay. All right.
So if they can get some for us here.
Okay, so I'm sure you'd want to tell him to go to to your regional officer.
I'm very happy about this interest that is being shown in coconut. Actually, coconut, if you read the stories that have been published this week, this week, starting from Saturday, when we launched the Coconut Festival in Elembele in the Western region, you see that my CEO is very, very committed to us providing further support for the coconut industry because it's a very, very prospective industry.
Yeah.
If you look at the trends, it's getting so overwhelming.
It's quite promising, yeah.
Very promising because, now coconut, everybody wants to drink coconut water.
Yeah, sure.
Europeans even come to Ghana specifically to taste Ghanaian coconut.
Yeah.
And it's the best in the world. Because if you taste Ghana's coconut compared to even those that are on large plantations in Philippines and so on, you'll be amazed that, the Ghanaian coconut is so nice. And the interesting thing too is that we are providing hybrid disease-resistant ones. Not resistant, tolerant.
Yes.
To the extent that the disease is difficult, it finds it difficult to attack these ones. And they are also short gestation, hybrids. Within 3-4 years, you're harvesting. And so the early ones that we provided to the farmers, they are now harvesting, and I'm sure some of them are even exporting.
All right.
So they should do that.
Let's go. Yeah, we'll come back.
But then we are going to be overwhelmed. I must say that we don't have, the resources are not unlimited.
All right, so let's go. Let's
go
to Upper East.
We should also, what do you call it?
Expectations.
Our expectations have to be lowered.
Yeah, we have to be lowered.
Otherwise.
All right. Good evening. I'm told we have Nathaniel from the Upper East region. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
I am Nathaniel from Upper East.
Paga, okay. Right.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, I'm a young farmer. I'm into pepper production. And there's usually year on year high post-harvest losses.
Wow.
And we don't get the required market for the product.
Yeah.
So fortunately, I'm just watching your program, and I want to ask the technical person sitting there how they will be able to help we do into pepper production.
Right. Great. Thank you very much indeed, Nat. We are grateful to you for your call. It's calling all the way from Paga in the Upper East region, yes.
Okay, what I would say is that for fresh, it will be a bit difficult because you are so far away, and pepper is such that, it needs to get to the market quite fresh. If we had our airport internationalized in Tamale, where you can pick straight from the north, straight into the market,
absolutely.
it would have been good. But for now, even though plans are afoot to do that, to establish direct links from there to Europe with warehousing and all that, it will take a while. So I would encourage him, don't abandon your pepper farm, by all means farm, but then dry it very well.
Right.
And then there is a market for the dried also,
Pepper,
and even powder, and even puree.
Right.
So once again, I would encourage you to visit our
regional
office in Tamale. Our regional
in Bolgatanga, you do have
Chereponi is where?
No, Chereponi is northern region.
Yes.
But
so we
Upper
have
East,
one.
Chereponi is northeast region.
Northeast.
And this one is calling from Paga in the Upper East region.
Oh, okay. So both regions, we have one in
Nalerigu. That's the northeast regional capital.
Oh, okay. Well, our northern region takes care of the whole of northern Savannah.
Okay, so Upper East and northeast should
we
go
are
to
not,
northern region.
We are not present in all the 16 regions now, because of the new regions.
Right, yeah.
We are yet to establish, but we are working towards that. So for now, if you are in the northern region or northeast region, you still will have to go to
the northern
Tamale.
region.
Or if Bolga is nearer to you, then of course you have to go to Bolga. And see our regional officers there.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I think we're going to take our last caller. We are being overwhelmed with the calls now. We have Grace from Bunkpurugu Yoyo, also from, I'm sure, the northeast region. Yes, good evening, Madam Grace.
Yes, sir, boss. My problem is our town, we have the long one that the seas is red. So I want to know whether they can also send that in for us in Northeast region, because coconut, if we go to Northern region, you will even find one to buy, and it's very important for us.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So help us to also get coconut in our area.
Right. Great.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed. I think Madam Grace will be our last caller. You probably would have to.
Yeah, well, what I would say, Madam Grace, thank you so much. One thing about coconut is that it grows almost everywhere. You only need a certain minimum water, what do you call it, rainfall to be able to farm it successfully.
Right.
And we would have to look at the land, do some assessment. It will depend on Ministry of Agric. Regional officers to do the assessment on our behalf, and if it is proven that the particular area where they are operating from in the north, will be good for coconut. By all means, we can deploy a few of those also there.
Okay. We have barely 2 minutes to go. So you are the exporter. I want you to tell us what your expectations are of government, of the GPHA, in order to ensure that you do your business seamlessly and smoothly. Just 30 seconds.
Right. I believe with the effort that GPHA is putting up, let me say with the pineapple suckers they gave to farmers some time ago, that has yielded the results of we increasing our tonnages last year, because they gave this 2-3 years ago, and now when we started harvesting them, we are seeing results. So GPHA should be given the needed support, and then the exporters also should be given the needed support so that we can bring in the foreign exchange that we are looking for.
Right. So, Mr. Dajawa, tell us, what's the way forward for our export sector as a country? Just also 30 seconds.
Well, for me, I would call for support for the National Export Development Strategy, which we are implementing now. We need multi-sectoral support.
Right.
Interinstitutional cannot do it alone. And every time we have opportunity, we tell everybody that we need everybody to come on board.
Right.
We need Ghana Enterprises Agency, we need Ghana Standards Authority, and all the agencies.
Right.
We need the support of industry, the private sector, Solomon's groups, associations, to come to us. Let us all work together, and I'm sure that at the end of the day, we'll all be happy that we collaborated.
Great. Thank you very much. Mr. Alexander Dajawa is the Director of Projects at the Ghana Exports Promotion Authority, GPHA. And also in the studios, Mr. Solomon Ntowiafe, who is also the Chief Executive Officer of Golden Riverside Limited, their pineapple exporters. And tonight we've been discussing how to promote and optimize the value of Ghana's exports. On Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television, we say big thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, Goil Company Limited, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, and Meridian Port Services, MPS. Remember, the show is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Thanks to the gentlemen for making it. And remember, the abridged version of the show is aired every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on Ghana Television GTV. My name is Kennedy Mona. God willing, we shall bounce back next week with another wonderful edition of Iron Port. Have a super week ahead and keep enjoying our programs. Good evening.